photographer I was versus the photographer I am, I want to try something a bit different today. I'm going to write a letter to myself, to the version of me that walked away from a career in the lighting industry in 2013 and decided, against quite a lot of common sense, to become a professional photographer. He was nervous, he was excited, and he was wrong about quite a lot of things. So Richard, this one's for you. If you've made a big change, or you're thinking about one, or you've simply reached a point in your life where you're asking whether the best of your creative years are still ahead of you, I think this letter is for you as much as it is for me. First thing, you believe, genuinely believe, that if your photographs are good enough, people will choose them over a picture taken on a phone. The quality will speak for itself. And I'm going to save you a lot of heartache now. It won't. Not always, not if you live in a rural area like I do and lots of your clients are small businesses. They won't see the difference or just don't have the budget to pay for it. That's not a reflection on your work, it's a reflection of the market you're in. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you stop taking it personally. The second thing you've got wrong, and this one's bigger, is you think you're selling photography and you're not. You're selling yourself. There's no product, there's no brand, there's no big corporation behind you. When someone says no, it feels like they're saying no to you because they are. And that is incredibly hard, and I won't pretend it gets easy. But here's what changes. You get more confident in the value of what you bring. Not because the self-doubt disappears, because the evidence starts to stack up. And the third thing, stop chasing everything. Portraits, corporate events, food. You're saying yes to all of it because you'd like the money, and you're frightened to say no. The focus will come, but it'll cost you some time to find it. Doing fewer things better is always the answer. I'm not going to gloss over this part. There will be a day, you're 24 miles into a mountain bike ride, 4 miles from home, when your body tells you something is seriously wrong. You make it home, you spend the night in hospital, in A&E, lying on a stretcher in a corridor, under a noisy fan, being bumped and bashed into by passing trolleys for most of the night. 12 hours before anyone fully grasps how serious it is. 12 hours before you're moved into a proper bed. 2 more heart stents, that's what it takes to keep you going. And I remember somewhere in that corridor the thoughts that came. Not about work, and not about clients or contracts or the next shoot. About the photographs I hadn't made yet. The ones still waiting to be taken. And that told me something I hadn't been willing to admit. I had been spreading myself thin, chasing the wrong things, and time, real time, is not something you get to negotiate with. What comes out the other side of that is focus, real focus, on the commercial work that pays the bills without costing you your health, and just as importantly, on the personal photography that feeds something the commercial work never quite reaches. Constraint, it turns out, is a gift. Oh, and social media. Learn this early. The days you post because you have something to say are completely different from the days you post because you feel you should. Learn the difference. It'll save you more energy than you can imagine. Now, there are things 2013 Richard gets right. He just doesn't know it yet. He thinks of himself as a technical photographer, precise, methodical, and that's true, and it's useful. But here's what he doesn't know. His best work has nothing to do with technique. His best work happens when he stops thinking about the settings and starts thinking about what he's trying to say. When he taps into something personal, something felt. That's what your audience responds to, not the sharp focus, not the perfect exposure, the bit of you that's in the frame. You'll take a long time to trust that, but when you do, that's when things start to shift. And that brings me to this YouTube channel. Start it sooner. I know in 2013 it feels like a distraction. You don't even know where to start. It's something other people do, but I promise you, the process of teaching forces you to understand your own photography in a way that nothing else does. You'll learn more by sharing what you know than you ever will by keeping it to yourself. And the community you build, the people who write to you to tell you that your videos got them back outside with a camera, that your words resonated, a young 88-year-old who's still developing and printing his photos, and a 78-year-old photographer who feels pulled into each new day by the opportunity to make photographs. That will matter to you more than you can currently imagine. More, honestly, than most of the commercial work. The people watching this right now, you're part of that. You're part of why it matters. Here's something that would genuinely stop you in your tracks. Brands are approaching us, unsolicited. Not because we have the biggest channel or the slickest production, but because of the community we've built and what it stands for. That, 2013 Richard, is what you were actually building when you picked up that camera and walked away from everything familiar. You just didn't know it yet. What wouldn't surprise him, and what he'd recognise immediately, is that it's still not resolved. The balance between commercial work and the photography that feeds the soul. The question of what the legacy should be. Those things are still live, still unresolved, and I think they probably always will be. But that's not failure, that's just what it looks like to keep going. So, Richard, here's what I most want you to hear. You will probably never be the photographer you want to be. And that's fine. That's actually the point. Because every day, if you show up, if you keep looking, if you stay curious, you'll be a little bit better than you were the day before. The journey is the thing, not the destination. The journey is the thing. And the other thing, the one I want you to tattoo somewhere visible, the thing that makes your photography different from anybody else's is you. Not your camera, not your lenses, not your edit. You. Your eye. Your story, your willingness to show up and share what you actually see. Be confident in that. Show yourself, because that turns out to be the most interesting part. Oh, and one more thing. Stop telling yourself you'll fix it in post. You won't, and it will absolutely bite you on the arse. Now, I want to ask you something, not 2013 Richard, you who's watching this right now. What would you say to the photographer you were 10 years ago? What did you get wrong? What did you get right without knowing it? Write it in the comments, even if it's just one line. I'll read every one. One last thing. If you're somewhere in this story yourself and you'd like a real conversation about where your photography is going, I'm doing free portfolio reviews at the moment. No pitch, no agenda, just two photographers talking about your work. I only have typically 5 slots a month. There's a link in the description. So make sure to grab one if you'd like to have that chat. In the meantime, have some fun with your camera, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.